Good morning. Welcome to the Thursday Thread. I'm Andy Lockwood with Neil Guilmette, CPA business building expert. Hello, Neil.
Good morning, Andy. How are you today?
Doing great. A little fatigued because this is my busy season as a college planner. How you doing?
I'm good. It's crazy. Life is actually crazy, which is
Yeah.
good. I'm busy. I'm very busy.
Good. Yeah, it's good. Good. Busy is good. We're having one of our best years we've ever had, even despite all the coronavirus and all that stuff. And these episodes that we do on this new experimental show, the Thursday Thread, they're really all about talking through stuff that we all face as entrepreneurs, but particularly accountants and CPAs. You've been in the field of advising CPAs more than 40 years, and you have so much knowledge. I feel like every time we talk, it's a mini seminar. So I'm really excited to talk about today's topic, which is the real reason why prospective clients hire you, and I guess conversely why they don't hire you. So I'm just going to sort of frame it in the beginning, and then I'm gonna let you go deep. I think a lot of us, we prepare financial aid forms. I'm not an accountant, but we have overlap. I think a lot of us in the beginning feel that people hire us because of what we charge, or because of our service, or because of what we do. We produce tax returns, or in my case, financial aid forms. But what would you say is about that? What part of that do accountants and CPAs get right, and what do they get wrong?
Most CPAs believe, and this is just not just CPAs, this goes for attorneys and other professionals. Most CPAs have a perception, and perception is reality, that people will hire them because of the depth of their technical expertise. We produce quality work, and when I hear we produce quality work, I always say, define quality for me. And I get one of those deer in the headlights stares. Well, accurate and timely work. I see. So do you actually believe that your prospects and your clients recognize good accounting, or can tell good accounting from bad accounting? I doubt it. So if they can't tell good accounting from bad accounting, why would they hire you over a myriad of other choices? They have enrolled agents, they have CPAs, they've got everybody and his brother is out there selling accounting services. How many people do you think are out there that are excited about buying accounting services? How many people wake up, turn to their significant other on a Saturday morning and say, honey, it's a beautiful day. Let's go out shopping for a financial statement today. We'll take a picnic lunch and we'll have a lot of fun. That's not why people hire you. In fact, those are the wrong reasons to be hired. Interestingly enough, and if anybody wants one, I have a letter that I've written that says, Dear Accounting Professional. It's all about getting hired. So if anyone wants to see that, just let me know. But the bottom line is, people are not out there saying, wow, I wonder which accountant I can hire this week. People will never hire you, because they understand what you do, because they'll never understand what you do.
Well, see, that was what I was thinking as you said that, because I think people like me who are not accountants, I love my accountant, and I think he's great because of the results he's gotten. But I'm really not qualified to judge, what a good quality accounting job is, and I don't think most prospects are either. So it's clients' perception too, right? You're talking about perception. It's all about what we think or don't think, and we're wrong.
Right. And remember that one thing, perception is reality. So what is a client's perception of a CPA? I've done this study many times where I'm in a room of 30 or 40 business owners, and I have a whiteboard up, and I say, look, we're going to do a word association game. The word I'm going to use is accountant or CPA or enrolled agent. What is the first word that pops into your mind when you hear those words?
Pocket protector?
Yeah, pocket protector is one. Comb over is another one. Boring, nerd.
Non-natural fiber suit.
Yep. Yeah, right, exactly. And then they're not necessarily in a pejorative, but their perceptions are so far different from what accountants and CPAs truly are. But that's because CPAs don't manage those perceptions. Um, you can come and talk to me, and here's the problem: there's so much disinformation in the profession. For years, I mean, I'm going back 30, 40, 50 years, and even to this day, the large accounting firms still go out to pitch a client. And to me, that just grates on my nerves like fingernails on a blackboard, because you go out to pitch a client, and I don't really care that you've been in practice for 57 years. I don't really care that you have 37 partners. I don't care about, I could care less about it. It's all meaningless to me. And the reason you have to understand is I'm listening to one radio station in my mind, WIIFM. What's in it for me? So do you actually think I'm capable of interpreting how the fact that you've been in practice for 57 years is a benefit to me and is going to create anything that I want?
Might be a drawback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And more importantly, when you're going out to meet a prospect and create a relationship, it's not about you.
Right.
You have to make it about the prospect. It's not about you. They're not thinking of you. They don't know how to choose the right CPA. They have no idea how to go about picking a CPA. They can't tell one from another. In fact, in their mind, CPAs are all interchangeable commodity. Well, you're a CPA. How much is it? How much is what? They perceive that CPAs do the same thing for every business, and you're interchangeable commodities. If you don't change that perception, you're stuck being a commodity. And the only determining factor in purchasing a commodity is price.
Yep.
And CPAs dread that when they go to see a prospect, the question, how much is it? And they always struggle with the how much is it question. And they don't realize that they're setting themselves up to create that question.
Right. And you teach them how to avoid that by proactively through the discovery process and asking them questions. That's a whole other episode that we need to do in the future. So let me just kind of focus us a little bit. So we talked about a lot of the reasons why prospects will not hire CPAs, which is basically when CPAs are just talking about themselves and not putting themselves in the shoes of the client. So let's flip it a little bit. Why would a prospective client end up hiring a CPA?
A very simple statement. People will hire you because they feel on an emotional level that you understand them. How do you go about getting a prospect or a client to feel that you understand them? It's very simple. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. It means you need to listen twice as much as you talk. But more importantly, you have to consciously go in and engage your prospects and your clients in a conversation to talk about themselves. One of the questions that I teach our CPAs to ask is when you walk in to meet a new prospect, introduce yourself, use an opening statement. You better differentiate yourself right off the get-go, because if you're not perceived as different, again, you're perceived as the same. And the marketplace perceives you as interchangeable commodities. So you need to change that. It has to happen from you. So you need to state that you are different. And you might as well say that when you are different, you're not right for everyone. And you're not right for everyone. And this thing, accountants struggle with this. Making this, and everybody does, not just accountants, everybody that I work with struggles with saying, we're not right for everyone. Why would I say I'm not right for everyone? You're not.
I think it's beyond what you say. It's what you know and how you want to run your life. I mean, I told you offline a couple of days ago, we fired a client, and we fired 2 clients this week. And it was such a relief. It was such a weight off of our shoulders, and they weren't a good fit for us. So I think you have to really have to believe all this stuff when you say it. So anyway, so there's the opening statement, which is, you know, a different topic. Why? So after you make that, what feeling are you creating in the prospect, and then take us through why they just are interested in working with you, and perhaps why they're not.
The first thing you have to do is learn empathetic listening. And empathetic listening is a learned skill. It's a skill that you can learn. And what David Goodman just chimed in. Remember the empty cup. And before you walk in to see a prospect, I believe that you have to do something called emptying your cup. It means letting go of your desire to get a client, letting go of all the noise that's running into your head about the work you have to do when you get back to the office, letting go of the argument you had with your spouse in the morning, wrapping all that noise up and putting it totally away, emptying your cup, and be there totally to listen to and understand your prospect. And then you have to lead them down the path. By doing so, you will create a perception of value and a relationship of trust in about an hour with a stranger. And the first step in that process is to get permission to ask them questions. If you don't get permission to ask questions, you can come off as obnoxious and an interrogator rather than a discussion. You want to have a discussion with a prospect like you were speaking with your best friend. And the first question you need to ask is, and I like this one, in 2,000 words or less, tell me about your journey through life that brought you to where you are today in your business and your life. Help me understand. And then shut up and listen.
Yeah.
And encourage them to go into details in certain areas and listen empathetically. You must give no solutions, even though you're dying to give solutions. You got to shut that down because that's not an empty cup. Just listen, listen, listen. You have to learn to listen to what people are saying and what they're not saying. Yep. And you need to resist the desire to tell them stories about your world or about what you can do or what you've done. You need, during the discovery, what we call the discovery phase, you need to not come up with solutions or anything else. You just need to listen empathetically. And interestingly enough, there's a reason for that, Andy. It's very rare that people truly take the time to listen to and understand other people.
Yeah, well, so that's what I was thinking as you said that, because I've heard this, from my own prospective clients. Thanks to the help that you've given me when as we work together, and I know you've reported this back to me from other CPAs, where the prospects say, "Wow, no one's ever asked me those types of questions before." And I think what's going on psychologically, as a real amateur here in psychology, behind the scenes for the prospect, is they know that you're in. They're kind of bracing themselves to be pitched. Everyone knows what the meeting's about.
Yep.
And what you do with a question like that is you start rationing it down and diffusing that tension, because you're not pitching. And there's other questions too. One of my favorites that I always ask is, listen, at the appropriate point, it's like, listen, I can tell you how we do stuff, but you don't have to agree with it. At any time, you can say, no, it's not for me, or that doesn't make sense, and I won't take it personally because we're not right for everyone. So it's totally okay. All these things diffuse that tension and let them relax more, and then you get past that that firewall of the okay, this guy's going to sell me a used car,
right?
And then they start talking about themselves, and they feel great, and they feel like you actually understand them. And of course, it helps if you actually do want to hear about their issues and their problems, because you can't fake it, because they'll sense that also. And then it's a whole different energy.
In addition to that empty cup, you have to be sincerely interested in the other person. And if you're not, you'll have commission breath.
Yeah, and get out of the business, frankly. I mean, don't do what you do.
And if you're not sincerely interested in the other person, you're going to have commission breath. You're going to drive them away. Yeah. So you're right. They are expecting you to come in and sell them. And when you walk in and you make a statement that you're not right for everyone, you are actually consciously reducing selling pressure and resistance, because you're saying to them, we're not right for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to see, and this is where I come from. when I teach people this, I want you to walk into that prospect with the attitude of, I'm here to see if you're worthy of our time.
Yeah.
We are the prize. As you said, we are the prize.
Yep.
The client is not the prize.
No.
You need to believe that you're the prize and that you're meeting with them to see if they're worthy of fitting into your world, into your ideal client. And I strongly suggest identifying your ideal client in writing. And then when you're sitting there looking at that client intellectually, you can hold that list up and say, okay, here's my list of my ideal client. Here's my checklist. Nope, 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 nope. They've got, out of 15 things, they've got 2. They're a next. We're not right for everybody. You need to know who you're right for, who you're not right for.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. And that is, and prizing, that concept, like you said, is I actually think it's true, whether anyone really believes it or not. But there's, anyone that's watching this, there's only one of you, and there's tens of thousands of prospective clients for you.
They're all over the place.
Simple math, right? And so you really have to believe that what you offer is unique enough for the right person, and it's a numbers game. One of you, tens of thousands of others, and if they don't get you, it's their loss.
And the other thing is that you need to be different in real time rather than say you're different. An old Italian lady told me when I was about 15 years old, if you want to understand people, don't watch their lips, watch their feet. In other words, don't listen to what they're saying, watch what they're doing. And you need to do things that are different than any other accountant that's ever walked in. Because remember, all of your competitors are going to walk in and pitch that client.
Yep.
And you're going to walk in and do exactly the opposite. You're going to walk in and say, look, I don't know if we're right for you or not. We're very selective about who we work for. The people we work for, we bring tremendous value to. But we don't know at this point whether you're right for us and we're right for you. With your permission, I'd like to ask you some questions to try to find out. And you start out with that first question, and it's a hierarchy of questioning. And the hierarchy starts with, tell me in 2,000 words or less about your journey through life. And I've had people say to me, Neil, you really want to hear about my life? Yeah, I do. I want to find out who I'm contemplating getting into bed with. And I'm selective. All right, I am selective. So tell me about your journey and listen carefully. Take a few notes here and there, just not writing, but a word here or there to go back to. And when you understand the journey that they took through life to get there, now that you understand who they are as a person and where they're at in their business, the next question is, how well is your business delivering to you the dream you had when you started it? When you started your business, you had a dream or a vision of how you're going to be living and the money you'd be making. Have you achieved that? My experience, 9 times out of 10 in a closely held corporation, even up to $50 and $100 million range if it's closely held corporation, 9 times out of 10, business owners have not achieved the dream that they had.
Well, they wouldn't be talking to you anyway. I mean, if they say they have, there's still some reason that they're sitting down, investing their time, to talk to you. Yeah.
And usually it's because they're not quite happy with their CPA, but they're not necessarily unhappy.
Sure.
In fact, it's funny because I've talked to thousands of business owners over the years. And one of the funniest things I think of is, well, I already have an accountant and they must be doing a great job. And I said, well, why do you say that? Well, I haven't been audited. And that's the criteria that they use to determine whether their accountant's doing a great job or not.
Well, that just circles back to what we were saying at the begining. Like I, as a non-accountant, as a prospect, I don't know that that's the right standard or not. I'm so ignorant. So I think a lot of and I think a lot of CPAs just they don't really understand the value that they bring and the ignorance that people like me, the layperson, the business owner, really have. So that's a common. I'm sure that's an extremely common way to evaluate whether you have a good accountant or not is whether you've been audited, and when in reality it's got nothing to do with how good they are.
Right. They have very few accountants have ever taken the time to figure out the value that they bring to a client relationship. Accurate, timely work is not value. Value is like beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yep.
And as far as what clients value, it's not timely, accurate work. That's an expectation. The fact that you've been in practice for 243 years, so what? The fact that you deliver accurate, timely work, you're a CPA, you're certified, you're supposed to do that. That's not a reason to hire you.
You return phone calls within 3 minutes.
We return phone calls promptly. Yeah. And we care about our clients.
Yes.
We really do care about our clients. And if that's the reason you think people are going to hire you, every other CPA that walks in your door is going to say the exact same thing. How does that differentiate you? Does the exact opposite. So clients will hire you because they feel that you understand them. So let's take this a step further. Once you understand who they are, then how is your business supporting the dreams that you have? How's it doing?
Such a great question.
Yeah. Are you making the kind of money you dreamed you'd be making? When you get up in the morning to go to work, do you say, I can't wait to get to the office because I love what I do? Or do you get up in the morning and say, oh my God, I got to go to the slaves yard again and take abuse and get beat up all day by my staff and by my clients?
Yeah.
If it's not fun to do and you're not making the kind of money you want to make and you're not getting the quality of life that you want, you need to make changes. And believe it or not, the right CPA is absolutely the best person to help a business owner make those changes, to take the business from them serving their business to having their business serve them.
Well, so just to jump in here, and that's an ongoing thing. So I mentioned earlier that I fired 2 clients. One of the ones I fired was someone who I realized was complaining every time and not following our procedures, and it had been ongoing. I probably should have done it in July. It's now the end of October. But he didn't fit in with what I wanted to do. And I said, listen, you're not following. It's like we're butting heads all the time. You complain every time you reach out to me. Your son's not doing anything we're supposed to. You've been blowing off all of our recommendations. So we're done. We're stopping billing you. I'll even consider a partial refund. Just let me know. And I'm sure there's something else going on behind the scenes because of all this erratic behavior, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't tell you this, Neil. He came back and instead of like biting back at me, he goes, yeah, there are some other things going on behind the scenes. Please call me and we can discuss it. Which I haven't done yet because I think I owe it to him as a human being to do it, but I haven't gotten around to doing it in 2 days.
Problem is, in your mind, he's already a next.
Well, he is a next, and I will listen to him, but he's still a next. But getting back to what you're saying about figuring out like how you want your business to look and to support you and all that, and asking those open. You see, I think you're a master of asking the open-ended questions that get people to, it bypasses all that resistance, all that rational, like logical, this guy's just going to sell me, and then into like the emotional stuff. And that, I think once you connect with those open questions, it's a whole different type of conversation and you show up differently. And it's all based on the fact that you and the people that you work with really do care and empathize and want to help people. I mean, we talk about this all the time offline. Nothing makes us happier than to hear about our clients' successes. You get all the time. And it's always thrilling. And I think of that. And I had someone hire me last night in my 2 nights ago in my office that said the same thing. I can tell that you're really, your heart is in the right place. And that's why we want to hire you. I think that's how you come across differently. And that's the real reason why people hire you. It's because they feel like you really get them on that level.
You've made a connection with them on an intellectual and emotional level.
Yeah.
And part of the questioning is it's a sequence. Once I understand as an accountant, once I understand what you want to achieve and what you haven't been achieving, my next question is very simply this: what have you done in the past to try to create the end result that you want?
Yeah.
And I'm going to listen to you. And obviously what you've done hasn't created the end result that you want. But I need to listen to that. I need to listen. More important to find out who you are and who you're not.
Yeah, I'd also want to know about what you tried that didn't work. And if I hear something like, well, I've hired 15 accountants in the last 2 months, and I keep ripping through them, that's probably a red flag. That might be someone I want to stay away from.
Excuse me. So my coffee made me laugh. Yeah, you also have to have the criteria as to why you don't want a client.
Yeah.
So the next question really is in sequence. Now that I understand who you are, where you want to go, what you're not achieving, and what you've tried to resolve it, I can begin to make a determination if I can actually help you.
Yep.
And it's not that hard to do when you ask the right questions and gather the right information.
Yep.
Then you're going to come to a decision point, what I call the decision. That's actually the decision point: play or pass.
Yeah.
Either I can really help this client and he or she fits into my ideal client profile, and I like them as a person and I'm connecting with them and they're going to be pleasant to work with, or they're not.
Yep.
And if they're not, get up and say so. Andy, thank you very much for your time. I can really appreciate the time you've given me. But as I said when I first came in, we're not right for everybody. And based on our conversation today, I just don't think we'd be right for each other. And I thank you for your time, but I'm out of here. Pack your stuff up and go. Don't waste your time.
Yeah. Or these days it's virtual. So I probably spoke to 15, 18 prospective clients this week because it's a very busy season for us. And I'm all phone call and Zoom meetings, and you take an hour, I take 25 minutes, but it's all the same thing. I'm just trying to filter them out. I give them a questionnaire ahead of time. That lets give me some insight too. All right. I just want to say this again. We're about to wrap up here, but if you have any questions for Neil or me, and you can just post them right here. I see another question that came in from Jennifer Anderson. So let me ask you this, Neil. How would you actually compare two CPAs without using price? Great question. What can the right CPA do for me to help me build a better business?
That's a great question. Hi, Jennifer, and thank you for asking. Comparing the two CPAs is really by listening to what they say and what they don't say. And you're going to find the CPA, and I teach my CPAs to do this, excuse me, that the question I like my CPAs to ask, I would say to you, Jennifer, may I ask you a question? When you think about your current CPA relationship, is it a source of additional revenue, business growth, and support to grow your business, or is it an expense on your profit and loss statement? Does it generate more than it costs, or is it pure expense? And if it's pure expense and doesn't generate more than it costs, you got the wrong CPA. So when you're looking for another CPA, you need to be prepared to ask that CPA the questions. How would you go about working with me to help me grow and increase my business and my income? And then shut up and listen. Because that's what you want to accomplish, and you want to get the CPA to be focused on how they can help you do that. And if you get a blank stare, deer in the headlights stare, and probably not right for you. Don't waste a lot of time with them. But if they can sit down and say to you, well, we work differently with our clients, and our focus is on understanding your business and using the numbers to help you grow and make and keep more money, now you're talking to the right CPA. That's how you kind of separate it.
Yeah. So I hope people are watching this either live or on replay are writing notes, taking this down, because it's almost for you, that my perception, which may or may not be reality, you have this it's like this continual loop of language that you're able to summon and just spit out that's so precise and so it does the right job. It advances the conversation on your agenda. It's like a politician. Whatever question they get asked, they answer the question their own way with bringing up whatever they want to introduce into the conversation. So that's something you can teach, right? I mean, that's
precision of language is a big factor in what I've learned over 40 years. That precision of language makes a huge difference. Words have meaning. And my daughters still roll their eyes about that, but I made them speak. I used precision of language in raising my 4 girls, and they still roll their eyes about that. But
and I was going to say, I can attest as as a mentee of yours that some of these specific tweaks that you had me make in my presentations and my one-on-one things have made a big difference, just with tiny little tweaks. And I think anyone, even people who may be watching this and thinking, wow, he's so good and he's so glib, I could never be that way. I would say it's the opposite. I can tell you from personal experience, anyone can learn this if you work with Neil.
And the question is, how many people out there think that actors and actresses out in Hollywood are really bright people?
Well, they think they are.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, you see them in a movie, they look so natural. They've studied those lines time and time again, and they've done 10 takes and merged them all together.
Yeah.
Precision of language. And if they're good at what they do, it seems very real to you. You need to become good at what you do. The precision of language, things that I taught you, they only come off my tongue because I've been using them for a long time and I've learned to use them. And I practice them and I teach them.
Yeah, that may make some people feel uncomfortable, but I just want to accentuate what you said or plus it, because I feel that when we are talking to prospective clients, that is a performance. Now, that doesn't take anything away from anything we've said before. You still have to genuinely be interested in helping them and all that, but you are still playing a role. And if you want to help them truly, you've got to understand why they make decisions, and you've got to show up that way and understand that you are, you're not an actor necessarily because you're not faking something, but you're playing a better version of yourself.
It's a matter of controlled conversation versus casual conversation. And controlled conversation has a thread of continuity. David, I use that line all the time. I'm not an expense, but a resource. Yep. I even use it when existing client complains. I say it's time to revisit how we're helping you. You're right on the money, David. Yeah, David and I have worked together must be 15, 18 years now.
Yeah.
So he's one of my clients from way back when he was just a kid out of college. He's now running a big practice.
Great. Yeah, and that's a great example, David, of the takeaways. It's time to revisit how we are helping you. Yeah, and whether we're a good fit. Maybe that's the time. And most people are like, "Oh no, we are. I'm sorry." They kind of back down a little bit, and that's fine. You want to be in that position. You're the teacher. They're the student.
Yep, and that's the big key. You have to behave in such a way as clients look at you as the prize rather than you looking at them as the prize. Being needy will never get you a client. Being hungry will never get you a client.
Yeah. And to amplify on one of your core concepts, which is why we named this the Thursday thread, the whole thread of continuity is from before they retain you and throughout the relationship, which is, I think, what David was alluding to.
Yep, absolutely. It's that delivering on a value promise.
Good. All right. So that was a solid half hour that felt like about 30 seconds to me.
Me too. It's gone. It's a wrap, as they say.
Listening to you, I mean it. It's like a seminar every time. So I hope people are getting value out of this. Please like this and share this. Post it. As far as I know, we're getting this out on LinkedIn, YouTube. We're going to make this into a podcast, eventually. So we're trying to expand Neil's reach as much as we can. So please like, comment, share, etc., to help us get the word out to anyone you think could use this information. Neil, do you have any closing words of wit and wisdom?
No, it's just that I look forward to it, and I enjoy the questions coming in, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's nice sharing what I've learned the hard way with bright people that can make their lives better using it.
Terrific. All right. On that note, we'll wrap up, and we'll see you next week on the Thursday thread. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And any comments you have on replay, pop them in right here on this page, and Neil and I will get to them.
Thank you, everybody.